Hello students, welcome to the English classroom. And today I'm going to give you a brief introduction about the text that you have in the first semester UG for BA, BCom, BSc, BBA. This is your textbook, English Made Easy. This is published by Orient Black Swan and it has two parts, part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is for the first semester, part 2 is for the second semester. In every part, you have 4 lessons, and each lesson has vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, spelling, value orientation, soft skills, conversation, some reading, some writing, and some listening. These are the components in every lesson. So today we will do the soft skills component from this lesson 2, and that is self-confidence. Now, of late in the modern times, self-confidence has become very important. There are special schools and special training programs to build self-confidence. What is self-confidence? How do you define it? Self-confidence is nothing but it is an attitude. When you have self-confidence, you trust your own abilities. So self-confidence is something that gives you a realistic view of yourself that will help you control your life. It is a belief and one can plan and execute one's wish. And it is that attitude which makes you comfortable living in your own skill. It is a feeling of trust that you have in your own abilities. It can also be defined as an assurance in what you are capable of doing. With self-confidence comes lot of freedom and you will have no doubts, no worries at all. You know about your qualities, you know about your skills, and you know how to approach a particular challenge without any fear. Now, self-confidence, when you define, taking the acronym of it, SELF-CONFIDENCE, these are certain qualities which I shared with you. S stands for self-realization. You know who you are. You know what your aspects are. So a confident person knows exactly what he or she is all about. And E stands for emphasis or emphasize on positivity. People who are self-confident will have lot of positivity around. They are only that go get attitude. There is no scope for any kind of a negative attitude. L stands for learning new stuff. Learning is a habit, it's an aspect of a student's life, and you learn new stuff every day. And if you are confident, if you want to build your self confidence, you will be willing to learn new stuff every day. And F stands for front row. People who are self confident are always in the forefront. They are the first ones to stand up in the class, they are the first ones to be always willing to do any kind of a work, or they're the first ones to enroll in any kind of club. And C is compliment other people. If you have self confidence, you receive lots of compliments from others. And people who have self confidence, they are an epitome of optimism, always a positive attitude, always very positive about everything in life, and no showing up bad side, not rude, not being egoistic, not putting the other person down, no bad sides at all. And focus on contribution. What can I do as my bit? So that is the focus people will have on contributing something or the other to a group, in a class, in a company, wherever you are. And people who are self-confident or self-confidence means I am important, come what may ever. All others are also important, but I am very important. This has to be ingrained in your minds. And dress smartly. If you have noticed, sometimes when you are really dressed very well, first day of the college, remember, first day of the school, how did your parents dress you up? Very neatly, neat craft, new clothes, new school bag, new shoes, everything new. So how did you feel? Very excited, right? That is the same feeling you have if you have to go to a cousin's wedding. How do you dress up? Very smartly dressed up. You trim your hair, you go to a grooming center, you get yourselves done up properly, neatly ironed clothes. So how you dress will show a lot on your confidence levels. So dress smartly. and always explore new horizons. The horizons or the aspects that you haven't touched upon, you should be ready to explore them. And self confidence means now, living in the now. What is it that I have in my hands now? So, that present moment, living for the present moment is very important. Self confidence also means having that creativity or creative instincts in you, and you also examine your limits. We are not superheroes or superhumans. We all have our limitations. If you know your limitations, you know where you can excel, where is that you cannot, where is it that you need some help. So this is self confidence to put in a nutshell. Now, how do you make out if somebody is a self confident person or somebody is lacking that confidence? Very easy to recognize. If you see this picture, person who is very confident, look at the picture on the left side, the boy. How is he? Very straight spine, chin up, always a smile on the face. Chin up doesn't mean nose up in the air. Nose up in the air is being very, very bossy or I don't care kind of an attitude. But no, a person who is self confident is very upright, very confident, walks straight. That thing oozes in their personality itself. And they will look straight into the eyes. They're very confident. They don't sulk. They don't cry. They're always energetic. And people who lack this confidence, they are drooping, dull, not happy, not energetic, and not willing to try something new. They always have, no, no, I can't do it. Anything you say, first comes the whining, or no. No comes easily from people who are not that confident, who lack this confidence. And they always say, I must be perfect. Nobody loves me. I'm not good enough. I must not make a mistake. What if I make a mistake? What happens? What will the other person think? What will the classmates say? What if people cry, laugh at me? People make fun of me? People mock at me? These are the things a student who has low self confidence has. Now, self confidence is actually balancing. If you are underconfident or your self esteem is low, what happens? People will try to take you for granted. They'll dump all their work on you. You cannot say no. For everything you say yes. Then people will say, do this, don't do that. You must not do this, you must not do that. So you'll be like crumpled or you'll be crowded and you don't know what to do because so many ideas are coming from everyone. So you can't stand up for yourself. So what happens? You will not take any risk. You will have this fear of failure. What if I fail? What if I don't live up to the expectations? What if? What if? This constantly troubles you and this will pull you down, pull your energies down. You cannot focus. You cannot concentrate. And you will start blaming everything either on yourself or on the other people or on the situations. But blame game will not help you. And not only that, you will not enjoy what you do. That is another thing if you're underconfident. This is one extreme, very low. What is the other extreme? Overconfidence. How does that manifest? If you're overconfident, you will overestimate your abilities. You have high estimation about yourself. You think, oh, if only I can do this, I would have crossed the moon. If only I had this, I would have done this. Oh, I can do this, I can do that. This kind of overestimation of your abilities, not taking a reality check, this is a nature of people who are overconfident. So what happens? You will end up or you will land up in situations, you will get fixed and you just cannot get out of it. And you will not try hard enough. You will end up losing, you will fail. And all this will lead to a lot of frustration and a lot of negativity and lot of failures. So people who are self-confident, people who do not have that kind of a self-confidence. If you look at this slide here, self-confident is doing what you believe to be right. Even if others mock, criticize, make fun of you, you shouldn't bother. So that's if you are not bothering about it, that means you have gained your confidence. Whereas you should be willing to take risks and go that extra mile to achieve better things. And a person who is very confident will admit his or her mistakes immediately. Whenever it is necessary, you say sorry. If it is your mistake, you apologize, and you will learn from your mistakes. Others, people who are very confident, will wait for others to congratulate, and you receive a lot of compliments. If somebody praises you, somebody gives you a compliment, person who is very confident will accept it graciously, saying, thank you, I really worked very hard on it. I am pleased that you have recognized my efforts. Now, coming to students who do not have that kind of confidence, you're always governed, you're always act based on what other people think. What does my mother say? What does my father say? What will the teachers say? What will they think? What will she think? What will he think? Always on what the other people think. All your actions will be based on that. And people who do not have confidence, they always want to be in their comfort zone. Why go play outside? No. What if I get hurt? So it is better comfortable to stay at home. That's the reason why they do not go venture out, because they have a lot of fear. What if I fail? So that fear doesn't help them to move ahead in life. So these people will not take any kind of risk, will not do anything new. And if suppose there's a mistake, something happened, there's a mistake, instead of admitting, like people who are confident, they say, okay, I made a mistake, I realize, I'm sorry. But people who don't have confidence, they will try to cover up the mistakes. They hope that I will fix this problem before anybody comes, and before it comes to anybody's notice. So they work very hard to cover up mistakes and hope that they can fix the problems before anyone notices. And people who are confident, they will wait for others to recognize them. But people who do not have that kind of confidence, they'll start boasting about themselves. All this self dabba, self extolling their your own virtues as many times as possible to as many people as possible. If somebody is kind of praising their own selves, that means somewhere deep down they do not have that kind of confidence which is required. And if you give compliments, initially you're fine, but there are people who are not that confident. They feel very uncomfortable receiving compliments. Somebody says, oh wow, that's a new dress. You say, oh, this is very old, nothing new about it. So any kind of compliment, any kind of positivity, you cannot accept. This is another nature of people who lack confidence, who lack that self esteem, very low self esteem. They find it difficult to accept compliments. They find it difficult to accept praise. They find it difficult to, if somebody praises them, they are uncomfortable. They will only giggle, laugh, or they'll move out from that place. And they will always give that credit to somebody else. So these are the aspects of people who have less confidence or a low self-esteem. These are the two extremes we have seen. Now, where is your self-confidence level right now? Wherever it is. If it is low, you can build it. If it is overconfidence, you can again rein it, you can straighten it, you can be very, very balanced. So whatever your confidence level, wherever you are, actually you can improve it. Now, how do we improve it? There are simple 3 steps how to improve your self-confidence. The first step, you will start preparing for your journey. Now you have realized, I need to improve on my self confidence. I need to prepare. So that intention, you prepare for your journey. Now, how do you prepare? All of a sudden, now that the COVID times are there, and suddenly we said self confidence, you have to build your self confidence. You should be very confident. Agreed. But how do you become that? So for that, there are again methodologies. First, look at your childhood, look at your past. Note down all the points, whatever you have achieved. Little success, that running race you won, the lemon and spoon you won, the competition, the singing competition, essay writing, elocution, anything, or a singing on a stage, or performing along in a group, huge group, you're just one tiny tot, it's okay. But that gave you a kind of happiness. That gave you the first taste of success, right? So when that success has achieved, make a note of it. Okay, this is where I have got my success. These little successes of your past, right from school, childhood to your intermediate, all those successes that made you happy, that made you feel, yes, even I can do it. Yes, even I can achieve something. That kind of an boosting, if you have had, those are successes. Make a note of it. Write it on a piece of paper. List one, two, three, four, five. At least five places or five issues where you felt very happy, where you felt really good of yourself. You will have, right? You passed your 10th, that itself is an achievement. You passed your intermediate, that is another achievement. You got into degree admission, that is another achievement. These are all achievements. Other than these, you made new friends, you fought in your gully cricket, in your local street area, whatever matches were there, you won, that is a success. In your apartments or in your complex, whatever competitions you have for Vinayak Chaviti or for Diwali or Dasara, you won those little competitions, that is a success. Some mehendi competition, some rangoli competition, all kinds of competitions, whatever, wherever you have participated, wherever you spoke, wherever you led a team, these are all successes. Make a note of it. And also, you have to make a note of your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats or challenges. What are these? SWOT test or SWOT test, we call it. S stands for strength, W stands for weaknesses, O stands for opportunities, T is threats, or it is of late now it is changed to C, that is challenges. We all have strengths, right? Family support is a strength, or friends support is a strength. Good college is a strength. Finding good teachers is a strength. The ability to connect to different apps on internet is a strength. You are a tech savvy person, that is a strength. These are all strengths. Now, what is your weakness? Suppose you have come here and into the classroom and you have a problem with English. You have a problem communicating. That is your weakness. Now, what are the opportunities that you have? Opportunities are, you have got a seat in a college. Yes. You have internet sources. You have your teachers' guidance. Yes. You have friends support. You have lots of material on the internet. You have lots of YouTube videos, channels where you can subscribe and listen and learn, right? These are all your opportunities. What are the challenges or the threats? Threats could be physical, outside, or internal. One threat is you feel very scared, you feel anxious, you are not confident about yourself. This is internal stress. External, power goes off, no internet, no Wi-Fi, no connectivity, no signal. These are external. These are the challenges. Now, once you have identified what is your strength, what are your weaknesses, what are the opportunities that you have to overcome these weaknesses and make your strengths even more stronger, and what are the challenges that come or what are the threats that hinder your progress. Once you have analyzed this, once you made a SWOT analysis, now think about your strengths and think about what is one point that you want to overcome. For students of English, first year degree course, they all have this one problem. That is, I want to improve my English. The way I want to communicate, I want to improve in my fluency. I want to improve in my language skills. I want to improve in spoken English. I want to improve the way I am. These are all your goals, right? This is what areas you want to work on yourselves. Now, think about what's very important to you and where is it that you want to go. After your degree, what do you want to do? After your first year degree, what do you want to do? So you have to have this clarity in your mind. What is important? Where do you want to go? What you want to become? Once this clarity is there, for most of the students, they don't have this clarity. They say, because I couldn't get into an engineering college or a medical college, I've joined degree. Because I couldn't get into some other college, I've joined here. Because I got a seat here, I've joined. So this is initially okay. But then from here, now that you have into this course, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? As long as you are in this college, you should have some goal. You should have some idea or clarity. What do you want to become? What are the aspects that you want to improve upon? What are these? That kind of clarity you should always have, right? Now, think about what is important to you, and whatever clarity you have got, you have to form a goal. You have to set your goals. That brings us to another topic, goal setting and time management, motivation and goal setting. That we will do it in a different chapter or a different lesson. Now start managing your mind. Commit yourself to success. You have to work hard on these. First, before you start anything, first and foremost thing is you have to like yourself. If you don't like yourself, if you don't love yourselves, don't expect others to do it. So what you give to yourself is what you get from the outside world also. One particular, what you said, principle of life, one tenant, one rule that you have to remember is what you give is what you get, and multifold, double and triple. So if you give compliments to somebody, you will receive compliments. If you smile at somebody, get a smile in return. If you're polite, you'll be handled with such kind of politeness. If you listen to others, others will listen to you. If you study hard, you will succeed. If you are brave, people will acknowledge you. If you take turns and help your parents or somebody to take turns and you distribute the work, if tomorrow when the necessity comes, they will help you. If you are loving, you will be loved. If you help others, you will be helped in future by somebody. If you have a gift, that gift comes back to you also. When you share, whatever you share multiplies. So what you give to yourself is what you expect from the outside world also. This is one simple sutra, one simple principle that works in every field, everywhere, every moment, every stage and age of your lives. First and foremost, you have to do what you have to do is you have to like yourselves. Note down what are all your positive points. From childhood, what did people tell? Okay, you are good at this, you are good at that. People have said something, right? All the compliments, you write it on one side. All the negatives that people said, you write it on the other side. So they are the points that the negatives are the ones you have to build up or to overcome. All the positive things that people told about you, about your nature, these are the ones you have to strengthen it. Okay, for that you need to know yourself. Then you need to analyze what are the positive points that you have in you, what are the negative points that you have or what the people have observed in you. Build these positives, try to overcome the negatives or reduce them. Okay, this is how it starts. So first and foremost, what you have to do is, if you have to build your self confidence, first you recognize where am I overconfident, am I underconfident, or am sometimes here sometimes there, or somewhere in between, or moving from left to right, overconfident to underconfidence, very confident to less confident. Where are you? So from a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being very confident, 10 being very very unconfident or inconfident, or what do you say, lacking confidence, where are you? Are you moving between 2 3 pointers? If that is the case, or wherever you are, with whatever stage, good news is you can improve. You can definitely improve. So how do you build your confidence? You have to set out. First thing is you have planned. You have made a SWOT analysis. You started with an intention. I'm going to build my confidence. You have started with that intention. You have started analyzing your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. You made a list. You made a list of your positive points. You made a list of your negative points. You made a list of what people said, all positive things about you, all the little successes you have achieved in your life till date. You made that list. Now pin it up on a notice board. That you will look at it every day. Your success, all those little stories, little instances where you felt very happy, where you felt you are important, where you felt, yes, I can do it. Oh, that is me. I did that. Whenever you have that kind of an experience, note it down, make a list, put it on the notice board or stick it onto the mirror in which you see your face every day. Now you will start. How do you build your self-confidence? First, build your knowledge, whatever knowledge it is. Now, we thought for one example, how to improve our English language, how to improve communication skills. That is our goal, okay, for the first semester or for the first year. You have analyzed, okay, I'm a good listener, my speech is not good, my pronunciation is bad, my grammar when I write it goes haywire, handwriting is bad. These are the things which you have to improve. Now, first thing is you have started. Now you want to improve your communication skills. How do you do it? First, build your knowledge. Build your knowledge, read a lot. Whatever your interest is, wherever you are, that knowledge you have to build. Then set small goals. So every day, if you think, I have to improve my speaking skills, I have to improve my language, I have to improve my writing, I have to improve my listening, then students remember listening, speaking, reading, writing. LSRW. These are the skills. Without listening, you cannot speak. Without reading, you cannot write. So always listening is very, very important if you want to speak. So for speaking good English, you should listen to good English. It could be your teachers or news on the television. Wherever you are, watch as much, get yourselves exposed to as much English as possible. That to good English. And not only just listening, try to use same sentences in your day-to-day speech also. Okay, now that doesn't mean you use slang or you use curse words or that kind of a thing, not that. But you use good English, nice sentences which you can replicate in your day-to-day life. Once you listen to a lot, speaking will automatically come. Then, reading. How do you read? The more you read, the better you will be able to write. What do you read? Where to read? Now, COVID times, everything is banned. Even in some places, newspaper is also not coming. So, whatever you have, either your brother's English textbook or your English textbook, you got something from somewhere, the old newspapers, anything in English, that is a good material in itself. Get that material. Every day, read for 1 solid hour. Start reading aloud. Loud reading will improve your pronunciation. It will give exercise to all the jaw muscles, face muscles, which help you in pronouncing with clarity. Pronunciation improves when you speak, right? So first thing you do, reading. Loud reading for starting with 1 minute. Do it with 2 minutes. Your muscles will start aching. You stop, take a break, again you start. Read it so loudly that the neighbors should be able to hear you, all the or 2 3 houses next should be able to hear you. That loud reading, like announcements, you do it. Do that. Then start with silent reading. Read it in your own mind. How to read, what are the techniques to help you read, that will come in the next classes as we move on. So first is listen to as much as possible, try to speak. Read as much as possible. Start with loud reading for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, slowly increase it. Then read all the textbooks, all textbooks, whatever material you find in English, you read. And then also practice writing. Write a good, whatever advertisement you see, try to do it. Try to write it in your own way. Whatever paragraph or story you read, you try to rewrite it in your own words. Like that, you practice little by little, listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And then set goals. Set little goals, small realistic goals. So what is our goal for this first year? We should be able to communicate, we should be able to speak in English, should be able to write grammatically correct sentence, our pronunciation should be improved. So these are the little qualities, little goals we have set for the first year. So what happens at the end of first year? That should be divided into little chunks, right? So you start today. Start with little goals. 1 minute of reading, 1 minute of writing, 1 minute of listening, 1 minute or 1 hour of reading. If you can stick, if you can give your 1 hour per day for building these activities, automatically you will see that you will improve a lot. Manage your mind, avoid distractions, and then learn from whatever experiences you have. Now, coming to the third step, you will move towards success. First month over, second month over, third month, you have started reading for 1 or 2 hours a day. You started doing loud reading for when it started with 1 minute, 2 minutes, it will come to 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And then you are able to write paragraphs, you are able to write essays, then you are able to speak properly, pronounce properly all the vowels, consonants, all the sounds, you are able to do it properly. So you are in a comfortable position. Now don't relax. This is where you have to train yourselves, discipline yourselves to stretch yourself, make your goals bigger, make your challenges tougher, increase the size of your commitment, extend your proven skills. So what started with 1 hour, now you start giving 2 hours a day. English, anything in English you read. Before sleeping, you have to make sure that you have read at least 5 to 6 pages of content that is in English. The more you read, the better you'll be able to write. The more you listen, the better you'll be able to speak. This is the simple funda. So, best level of confidence is the one that is based on your current abilities. What is my ability? How much I can do it? Based on this, how much I can improve. So, this is the level of your confidence. Next. This is based on observed realistic expectations. I told you, you have to be very, very realistic in your expectations. If your friend is doing 4 or 5 books in 1 hour, he is able to complete one entire book. Don't get into competition. That is his ability or her ability. You look at your ability, how much you can do in your given situation, in your circumstances, in the house, attending to all the responsibilities, doing, helping your mom, helping your dad, helping your brother, mother, whoever. And in the given circumstances, how much is it that I can do? My friend has finished 4 books in over the weekend. One day, morning to evening, he sat and he finished one entire book. That reading. Maybe your speed is not that much. Don't get into competition with others. You go at your pace. You have, your reality. So you do it at your own pace and have realistic expectations. Don't get into competition with others. And when success is measured in terms of achievement, today I could read for 1 hour and I could write one paragraph. Little writing practice I did. Yes, I felt very happy. I put a time limit. In this time, I have to read this much. I have achieved that goal. That is an achievement, right? It is measured. The more you achieve, that confident you feel. Now, winning and losing, it doesn't matter. In a class, you will be made to sit in group activities, team activities. So there's nothing like I won this, I lost it. It doesn't matter. You're only learning, you're only practicing. What matters is you're enjoying your work. That only matters. So winning, losing, don't bother about all that. Just enjoy the process of learning and building your own confidence. Well, to finally sum up, if you think you can do it, you can. If you think you can't do it, maybe that you're right. Yeah, you can't do it. This is Mary Kay Ash's quotation. And students, so quickly wrapping up, building confidence comes very easy. It is a slow process where you go step by step. Create your goals, list your past achievements, make a list, put it on the mirror, look at it every day, feel happy about your own past experiences, look at it, or you look at people in your own community, in your own class who have done well, who have this motivational story. Read Abdul Kalam's biography, read Mahatma Gandhi's life story. We have great people, how they started their life, and look at where they reached. So their journey itself is very motivational. Look at their lifestyles, read their books, read their life stories. You can listen to so many TED talks are there where great people come and give a talk about how they have come to that successful stage in life. There, most of them are in English. Subscribe yourselves to TEDx or TED Talks. and you can listen to good English and very motivational stories. Get inspired from them. And you are your own inspiration, you are your own driving force. And this comes slowly, gradually, you move step by step. And finally, you will see that one day by the end of the first semester, your confidence is built, you are feeling better, you are able to participate in all the activities of the college, you are able to speak, you are able to write, you are able to listen, and you are able to do everything very, very perfectly. Thank you very much. So this is where we end our today's lesson on self confidence. We will look at the next one, that is interpersonal skills, in the next class. So students, stay home, stay safe. I hope you have liked this lecture. Please follow these simple rules or the steps that I have told you. Make a list, do it, and you are your own leaders. You don't need somebody else from outside to tell you you can do it. You know that you can do it and you will do it perfectly well. So good luck to you. Stay home, stay safe, and we'll meet in our next class. Thank you. See you tomorrow.